Hey guys, I'm Lee from Lee Likes Music, the place to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp. And today we're going to review an album which is called Lost in the Dream by The War on Drugs. It's not a new album, it's actually a pretty old album, but it's the newest one from the band nonetheless. So that's coming up. So just a little side note before I get into the content of this video. I want you to notice that I don't use two cameras today. I actually had to lend away my second lens, so I'm in the process of getting a new lens at the moment. So I'm sorry if the video isn't that enticing. I'm gonna try my best to make it interesting nonetheless. So I was actually planning to do a review of the new single by The War on Drugs, but I was thinking, for people who aren't familiar with this band, it would probably be a better introduction to the band if I actually do a review of one of their better albums. And that is the reason why I'm making this review today of Lost in the Dream. The band, The War on Drugs, it is an indie rock band from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, US. It was originally founded in 2005 by founding members Adam Granduciel and Kurt Weill. Their sound has been described by many different sources as a mix of Bob Dylan, My Bloody Valentine, the Sonic Youth, but I can also hear influences of Bruce Springsteen, for example. I would also compare them to the Japandroids, just to have a modern heartland rock band to compare them to. That is something that you can compare them to. If you also like psychedelic rock, which is another thing that this band is implementing, they have this mix of heartland classic rock, such as Ryan Adams, Bruce Springsteen, artists like those. And then they also mix this together with psychedelic rock, such as Tame Impala is a good example of such a band. So Lost in the Dream is their third studio album, and it was released back in 2014, and it is actually an album that was featured on many of the best of the year album list back in the day, back in 2014. So let's jump into the first track here. Let's just go a little bit quickly through the tracks. So the first track is called Under the Pressure, and this is actually one of the 5 singles from the album. Yeah, this album released 5 singles. Many of the tracks are very good standalone tracks, which is amazing. The song starts out with this driving beat alongside the simplistic piano part, and on top of that you have Granduciel. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but Granduciel performed this very wistful and sore vocal performance, and it all blends together into this beautifully performed song.
But a dream like this gets wasted without you.
There are a couple of instrumental tracks in the song. For example, the most noteworthy one is the Faye, droney, and weightless part that comes in at 5 minutes and 30 seconds in. It just ebbs and flows, it rises and surges in such an amazing way that the whole song almost feels like a dance. Amazing song, Under the Pressure, go and check it out. Red Ice is the second track, and this is more of a fast-pacing song. It is also more, I guess this is an easier song to get into because it's a lot faster, it is more groovy and catchy in a way. The acoustic guitar, the drums, the bass, they all provide this very solid framework of a rhythm. It's impossible not to kind of stomp your foot or start to dance a little bit with the song. Laced on top of the rhythm, you have this airy synth, melodic electric guitar, there's some horns, some piano here. It all adds up to this fusion of sound that feels very warm and giving in a way. I also want to mention that the song has this very subtle transition between the different passages. When it goes from verse to chorus, for example, it's very smooth. Nothing much really changes that much, really. So you end up with a song that you kind of sit back and you intuitively want to listen to it because, yeah, it's just so chill. you want to take it for a ride, or the song is taking you for a ride, almost. I feel like many of the songs on this album, they have this cohesiveness, but at the same time you have other alterations in the album. You, for example, have other songs that are more spacious, they are more psychedelic influenced, they are more instrumental, but then you have other songs that also experiment a little bit more with the instrumental arrangement. For example, the fifth track, which is called Disappearing, experiments with when you put the song on, you quickly realize that you're swimming in a foggy musical environment that is really inspired by 80s rock and pop music. Just listen to the deep pitched bass synth and also the kick and snare rhythm combination. It just completely reminds me of some 80s song. I don't have any exact example of a song or an album from the 80s, but immediately when I hear the rhythm here and the synth, it doesn't take me back, but it brings like 80s music into my mind. Granduciel is very vague in his way of writing, in his style of writing music, but from what I've heard, from what I've read, this whole album, or many of the songs, are inspired by Granduciel's hardship. He experienced a lot of depression during the time when he wrote this album, and he also experienced a breakup with his wife or his girlfriend. I don't know exactly what type of relationship they had, but at least there was some big breakup that really made an impact on his writing style and his way of producing his music. Later on in the album, actually one song later, you find Eyes to the Wind, and this is actually an alteration in terms of the style. I mentioned in the introduction of this video that this album also takes inspiration from Americana, and this has to be one of the most influenced Americana songs on the album. Something in my eye. Pain. Get away. And the reason why I would say it is Americana infused is because of the way that the melody is unfolding, and also because there is a use of lap steel here, which is a typical instrument that you will find in country and Americana music.
There's a cold wind blowing down my old road, down the back streets where the pines grow.
While the previous track, Disappearing, was actually a wandering instrumental track, this one is actually very concrete, very tangible, both in terms of lyrics and in terms of the melody. It's very straightforward in a way, and it's nice to see that the album, although there are a lot of psychedelic and hard rock all the way through, there are some stark differences that you experience on the album, and that is really something that spices the album up a bit. It's something that challenges you in a way, and that is something I like. I don't like albums that sound samey, I don't like albums that experiment too much, but if you get the blend in between, if you hit the sweet spot, you create something beautiful, and that is what Granduciel and co. did on this album. Track number 7 is called The Haunting Idol, and this is again another flip, another U-turn when it comes to the genre in a way. I mean, this is an album that is very dense, it is very versatile, but you always hear that there is a red thread. There's always a cohesive, coherent feeling to the album. The Haunting Idol is a track that is completely instrumental, which is kind of a nice, it's nice mix up to hear that some of the tracks are without vocals. I actually feel like that adds a nice break to the songs where there is a vocal track. It is a song that is completely based on synthesizer sounds and also these flangery distant guitars. This is definitely something that reminds me more of My Bloody Valentine more than anything else, to be honest. It also has this dramatic, cinematic character to it, which I also really enjoy, and that is something that puts a big dent, a creative dent into this album, and it's something that makes the band more versatile, more exciting to listen to, because there's just so many levels to their music. There are so many realms that you feel the band could expand on, that they could make more music out of, but you only get a taste of what they're actually capable of doing. And that is what's so great about this album. It just takes the best of everything that the band could have made and puts it into one nice a la carte of an album. I really don't want to talk that much more about this album. There are so many other tracks here that are also really good. I highly suggest that you check it out. Lost in the Dream by The War on Drugs. I think they also have some great albums before this. I'm not that familiar with their discography, to be honest, but if you like this one, make sure to try to discover more of their music. And also, if you like this review, make sure you stay tuned, because there will be a track review coming up in the next week. I'll try to review their newest song. Maybe they're coming out with a new album too, I'm not sure. But yeah, if you like to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp, then I highly suggest you click the red subscribe button below. Also, make sure you hit the bell icon beside the subscribe button, because in that way you'll always get notified when I upload new videos to this beautiful place right here. Ta-da! I really hope that I made your musical experiments. I hope that I made your musical experience a little bit more meaningful, and I hope to see you later. Stay tuned. Bye.